Buenas noches. We look to the stars with hope and wonder, dreaming of what might be out there, seeing NASA as a beacon of human achievement, a symbol of our relentless pursuit of knowledge. But behind the public triumphs, the carefully crafted image, another story exists, one hidden in locked vaults and encrypted servers, shielded from the eyes of the world. These are NASA's secret archives, censored data, classified events, and encounters too unsettling for public eyes, experiences that challenge our understanding of reality. Tonight, we journey into the gray zones of official history, the spaces between what we're told and what might truly be, through declassified documents and hushed astronaut testimonies, whispers from those who've seen the unseen. These aren't just tales of strange lights, they're fragments of a larger, carefully managed puzzle, a picture that someone doesn't want us to complete. What did our pioneers truly find in space? What did they witness in the vast emptiness? What secrets did the Cold War force into the shadows? What truths were buried in the name of national security? The official narrative is one of triumph, a story of human ingenuity and unwavering determination, but whispers persist, of lost Apollo tapes, inexplicable objects, and protocols for contact with the unknown, plans for a moment that could change everything. Secrecy, we're told, was for national security. But could it also have hidden discoveries so profound they threatened to upend society? Knowledge that could shatter our perception of reality? Our journey will pull back the veil, examining evidence from Project Mercury to the Space Shuttle and beyond. We'll connect the dots between incidents, seeking the chapters torn from our history books. This is a quest for the full story, exploring the tension between public right to know and NASA's need to control the narrative. Prepare yourselves. The truth is often stranger and more complex than the fiction we've been fed. The cosmos has secrets, and some have been brought back to Earth. Tonight, we begin to uncover them. What you're about to see may change how you view our place in the universe. It might even challenge everything you thought you knew. The journey starts now. Welcome to NASA's Hidden Archives. Our story begins in the early 1960s, a pivotal moment in human history. It was at the height of the Cold War, a tense standoff between superpowers, where technological advancement was as much a weapon as any missile. Project Mercury was America's ambitious first attempt to put a man in orbit, a daring leap into the unknown. The Mercury 7 astronauts were instantly hailed as national heroes, symbols of American ingenuity and courage. But behind the scenes, away from the cheering crowds and flashing cameras, a different narrative began to emerge, one shrouded in secrecy and uncertainty. It was a narrative of the unexplained, of strange occurrences that defied easy explanation. In 1963, during his historic Faith 7 mission, astronaut Gordon Cooper reported observing a greenish metallic object rapidly approaching his capsule, an anomaly that caught everyone by surprise. What made this sighting particularly compelling was that it was independently confirmed by ground radar stations in Australia. Yet upon landing back on Earth, Cooper was immediately barred from publicly discussing the sighting, a clear sign of a cover-up. The official story, disseminated through press releases, conveniently blamed hallucinations, completely ignoring the corroborating radar evidence that supported Cooper's account. Adding to the mystery, the crucial data tapes from the Australian tracking station mysteriously vanished, and a heavy blanket of official silence descended, effectively burying the incident. But this wasn't an isolated event, a one-off anomaly easily dismissed. Other Mercury astronauts, in hushed tones and private conversations, hinted at experiencing strange phenomena during their missions, but Cooper's sighting remained particularly significant because it was independently corroborated by radar. The precedent was now firmly set. When faced with the inexplicable, the official response would be to deny, to debunk, and above all, to classify any potentially damaging information. Maintaining a pristine public image, projecting an aura of unwavering competence, consistently outweighed the imperative of thoroughly investigating the unknown. The first secrets of the space age were carefully buried deep within the archives, but the whispers, the rumors, the unanswered questions had already begun to circulate. These early incidents, these first encounters with the unexplained, profoundly shaped NASA's approach to dealing with the unexplained for decades to come, setting a pattern that would be difficult to break. The public, of course, saw only the carefully sanitized version of events, the triumphs and the technological marvels. But behind closed doors, in the corridors of power, and within the classified files, the unknown remained a very real and often unsettling presence. The seeds of secrecy, of carefully controlled narratives, were sown right from the very beginning of the space age. And this pattern of concealment and denial would only continue to grow and intensify as the years went by. After Mercury, Project Gemini fearlessly pushed the boundaries of space exploration even further, a crucial stepping stone towards the ambitious goal of landing on the Moon. These missions involved longer durations in space, daring spacewalks to test human capabilities outside the spacecraft, and significantly more time spent in the silent void of space. It was during these extended missions that astronauts began reporting sightings of unidentified objects, things that defied easy explanation. These strange sightings were often cryptically referred to as bogies, or more openly, as UFOs in the official mission transcripts, hinting at the mystery surrounding them. One notable instance occurred during Gemini 4, when astronaut James McDivitt reported seeing a white cylindrical object with a distinct arm-like appendage. A truly unusual sight. He managed to photograph the object, capturing visual evidence of the anomaly. But NASA later attributed the sighting to his own rocket stage, a claim that seemed to dismiss the astronaut's experience. McDivitt, however, remained steadfast in his disagreement, firmly insisting that he knew exactly what he saw, and it was not a discarded piece of his own spacecraft. Adding to the intrigue, the most compelling photographs taken during that encounter were mysteriously never released to the public, fueling further speculation. The crew of Gemini 7 also reported observing a peculiar bogey flying in close formation with their spacecraft, suggesting a deliberate act of observation. And the Gemini 11 mission yielded even more photographs of unexplained anomalies, further deepening the mystery. Official explanations, attributing these sightings to mundane causes like ice particles, space debris, or distant satellites, were quickly offered to the public. But despite these explanations, the astronauts' underlying confusion and skepticism remained palpable. In many ways, the Gemini program inadvertently became a training ground not just for spaceflight, but also for handling the psychological impact of the unexplained. The unwritten protocol: first, witness the anomaly, then meticulously report it, and finally, accept the official explanation, regardless of what your own eyes told you. This pattern of denial and dismissal gradually solidified into an established procedure. Consequently, the public was only ever presented with the most mundane and easily digestible answers. But the astronauts, those who had actually gazed upon the unknown, carried the distinct feeling that there was something more profound out there, beyond our current understanding. The unseen companions encountered during the Gemini missions continue to linger as a captivating mystery, prompting us to question what else might be lurking in the vast expanse of space. The Apollo program was humanity's greatest leap, but the journey was more mysterious than the highlight reels suggest. Apollo 11's Armstrong and Aldrin reportedly saw other craft on the Moon's crater rim, relayed over a secret channel. 2 minutes of radio silence may have been used to process what they saw. Testimonies from NASA insiders and intercepted transmissions support this claim, though NASA denies it. Apollo 10's crew heard strange music on the Moon's far side. Transcripts were classified for decades. NASA blamed radio interference, but the astronauts sounded genuinely baffled. The full nature of what Apollo found remains a closely guarded secret. The Moon's shadows may hide more than footprints. Some mysteries were quietly edited out of history. After the Moon landings, Skylab became America's first space station, a hub for science and, again, for the unexplained. In 1973, Skylab 3's crew reported a red pulsating object orbiting with them. Bright, defined, and moving intelligently. They filmed and reported it. Ground control found no matching satellite or debris. NASA's official explanation: a reflection from a Soviet satellite, despite the crew's detailed, contradictory descriptions. The film was deemed inconclusive. This event highlights the psychological toll of secrecy. Trained observers dismissed, their experiences invalidated. The Rudolph UFO remains one of the best documented, least explained encounters in US space history. It was a clear signal from the void, received, recorded, and then deliberately misinterpreted. The pattern of denial continued. Even in orbit, the unknown was met with silence. The space shuttle era brought reusable orbiters and live broadcasts, but also a new level of secrecy. Many missions were classified for the Department of Defense, Launches, orbits, and payloads were hidden. Astronauts were forbidden to discuss what they saw. The STS-48 mission in 1991 captured objects moving in controlled, non-ballistic ways. One made a sharp 90-degree turn after a flash of light. NASA called them ice particles, then suggested a ground-based laser. But experts disagreed. Ice doesn't move like that in space. The footage remains unexplained. The shuttle was more than a science truck. It was a military platform in a far stranger theater than we were told. Classified missions created a black hole in the public record. What else was seen and hidden during these secret flights? The answers remain locked away. Our journey now takes us to Mars, a world of scientific triumphs and strange anomalies. Viking 1's 1976 experiment detected signs of life in Martian soil, but NASA dismissed it as a false positive, despite the lead scientist's protests. Raw data became hard to access, lost in aging archives. The Face on Mars photo sparked public debate. NASA called it a trick of light, but some saw evidence of artificial structures. Later images showed a natural formation, but the quick dismissal fueled distrust. What other anomalies have been quietly archived? The Martian enigma isn't just about life. It's about what's been found and hidden. The secrets of Mars may be buried deeper than its soil. In the digital age, secrecy has evolved. Data can be filtered or erased with a keystroke. Live feeds from the ISS often cut out when anomalies appear, always blamed on technical glitches. This real-time censorship prevents public scrutiny of the unexplained. High-res images from Mars and the Moon sometimes show blurred or altered areas, officially compression errors, but skeptics suspect deliberate obfuscation. NASA receives more data daily than in the entire Apollo era, making full transparency impossible. But this filtering also allows control of the narrative. The cosmos we see is the one NASA approves. The modern veil isn't a locked file, it's a digital filter. The truth may be just out of frame. Decades of shadows reveal a pattern: extraordinary sightings, mundane explanations, and lost or reinterpreted data. Why the secrecy? Some say it's to protect society from truths too disruptive to handle. Others point to institutional reputation and funding. Better to ignore anomalies than risk chaos. The simplest way to avoid controversy is to pretend the anomaly never happened. But space belongs to all humanity. The search for knowledge should be open, not classified. Discoveries that challenge our understanding are too important to be hidden. We have a right to the raw data, the unfiltered testimonies, the full story. Only when the archives truly open will we know what we found in the silent dark. The final frontier demands transparency, because the truth is out there, waiting to be seen.